Hello, another day, another something. Walking around town, getting some things. I needed 2-stroke oil and other bits and bobs, and next stop will be at the grocery store because it's nice to eat every once in a while. One thing I forgot to mention in my previous video about sound hunting is that one part of my kit is also a pretty good sized screwdriver, and the handle is made of soft rubber, and obviously the rest of it is metal. So I have two different kinds of beaters for different things, so I can hit different kinds of things with different kinds of surfaces, so it makes different noises. So that's one thing I forgot to mention. And today I was supposed to be on the road, but since some people don't know what they're doing, or they're just trying to fist fuck others, it's a day off for me. And last night I was watching Twitch VOD. Excalisors and Sandy were playing this, and the crew were playing the beta of new Modern Warfare, new Call of Duty game. And it looked like, well, the first thing that came to my mind was Battlefield 3 for some reason. It looks fun, but I don't know if I want to play it. Because for me, the Call of Duty is the epitome of a Twitch shooter, although Black Ops 4 kind of derailed from that because the base level of health was 150, and if you had Crash in your team, it was 200 at times. So TTK is definitely faster with this new Call of Duty, and I don't know if I'm going to like it because my reaction time is slower than average, so I'm dying quite a bit. And one thing that I don't like about Call of Duty games is that there's always cheap bullshit. And it's kind of weird for me to say because I'm not a good player. I'm an average Call of Duty player at best. But I'm thinking about it from the perspective of a skilled player. There's always something that will kill you that's not deserved. I mean, the person who killed you, no matter how, that's not a deserved kill. So, but that's the thing with basically all Call of Duty games, or at least those games that are coming to my mind at the moment. There's always cheap ways to get kills. Something like Black Ops 3, you had the Purifier and Brecci. So a flamethrower and a semi-automatic shotgun. So, and I still have nightmares every once in a while. So, well, not actual nightmares, but still when I'm thinking about it. So dum 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 dum. Bad times, bad times. But the game looks fun. And with the bigger game modes. And I've heard that there will be 32 versus 32 game mode in this next Call of Duty. Well, I think the beta was 10 versus 10, and that was already chaotic, especially with the map that they were playing. It's very, well, it's an urban map, a lot of windows, a lot of rooms, a lot of corridors, so no one's moving. And what comes to Call of Duty games, they die or rise with their maps. So if the maps are dictating the style of playing. And if the maps are a lot of windows, a lot of small rooms, people won't move. People are not playing it like an arcade shooter. They're playing who can camp the best. So, not really fun. And I don't know if they have fixed the head glitching problem. Because in most FPS games, the bullets are not coming out from your gun, they're coming out from your forehead. So if you can see the enemy, you can shoot the enemy. And the only thing the other guy sees is this kind of a small bump behind some object. And Battlefield got rid of it by lowering the point where the bullets are coming. So you have to make sure that you're actually seeing the target. So you have to expose yourself in order to shoot. And that's fair to me. I mean, it's an even playground, or it evens the playground by lowering the point where the bullets are coming. But in Call of Duty games, if I'm not mistaken, it's still that old barrel in the forehead mechanic. which is kind of shite, especially when it comes to snipers, but yay. But one thing I also have to do today is that I have a very cheap Williams keyboard, and there are a few things I want to try to sample out from that. I've made some samples with that keyboard, but there are some things that I still want to do, and especially it's a cheap keyboard with built-in speakers. And if you lower the volume all the way down, the lowest point the master volume gets, it's still loud as heck, with a lot of white noise. So Williams is a company that makes, or at least they're selling, keyboards, guitars, both electric and acoustic. I have one. That black guitar you've seen in these videos is actually Williams. And it was cheap as dirt back in the day. I think I bought it somewhere around 99, 2000. It still works, but it's a great sofa guitar, or just something to work on ideas, but you don't want to record with that if you're making some kind of a serious recording. I've used it for that, and it's nice for my purposes, because I want instruments that have character. If you're using a software synths, for example, they're always the same. The sound is always the same, and it's clean, and it's whatever you can think of, unless you want it to be dirty. But with those cheap keyboards, cheap guitars, cheap microphones, cheap amps, they have a character in them. They may sound like crap on their own, but in the mix, there's just something that I like. The unintentional distorting and all that stuff, it's nice. It's same thing with small guitar amps. If you put enough juice through them, they will start distorting, and that's not amp distortion, that's actually speaker distortion. With the well, for example, I have this small, I think it's Squire, but I think it's Sidekick or something like that. It's a small practice amp that I got, I don't know, 20 years ago. I think I was 18 when I bought it, or when I bought the Strat, and the amp came with it. And it's a great amp if you're using single coil pickups, but it doesn't cope, it can't handle with humbuckers of any kind. So what you're getting is not amp distortion, you're getting speaker distortion. And some people are saying that it sounds ugly, but there's a place for every sound. You just have to find that place. Thought/tip of the day. If you're living together with two females, one of them is a teenager, and they collectively have that time of the month. Good luck! My trial by fire method. Give them chocolate and stay out of the way. If you could be a fly on the wall in our bedroom during daytime when I'm at home, that's most likely what you would see. Just me playing random things, letting the unconscious to take over. Because there's a saying that poet is a fisherman on the edge of the stream of consciousness. I think it's the translation here. Well, I'm not a poet, I write songs, but same thing applies. But with the exception that if you are a poet, then language is your tool, words are your tool. What comes to songwriting, your tools are melody, harmony, rhythms and words. So that's why a lot of times if you read a lyric of a song, it doesn't sound all that, well, it doesn't have that same than what for example good poetry has. Obviously there are exceptions when it comes to songwriters, but still it seems to be lacking something. Well, that something is music, because it's not meant to be read, it's meant to be heard. So all the tones, melodies and words have to be as one in order for a song to work. It may be, well, it may be that the lyrics, actual lyrics, are complete nonsense, but there's some kind of a rhythm, some kind of melodic or harmonic hook that catches you, and that's why pop music is what it is nowadays. But that's what it is. And what comes to these vlogs, I don't want to be a broken record playing the same track over and over again, but that's what I'm doing. That's my life at the moment, because I'm kind of an all-in person. And when it's music, it's music. When it's gaming, it's gaming. When it's something else, it's something else. I'm all in with that, whatever it is at that time. And right now it's music 24/7, and that annoys the living hell out of me. Because you know this thing, when you're trying to sleep but you have something in your head that keeps you awake. Well, I know from experience that that is an important part for writing songs, because that's the moment when a lot of things come. When you're not thinking anything particular, all of a sudden you're just, wait a second, what was that thought? Rewind, here it is. So, and it's annoying when you're all in with that. It doesn't matter if it's test that you'll be having tomorrow or something else, but it's important part, but still it's annoying when you can't just relax. And that's why I sometimes, well, I've talked about this with few people who are musicians by profession. They are professional musicians, teachers or whatever, and they understood when I said that I really hope that I never started to learn about music, because I can't just listen a song, you know. If you're not playing yourself, you probably don't understand, but if you are involved with music, I mean you're making music yourself, you do understand that it's hard to just listen a song. You start listening all the different layers of a song, and well, that bass line could be better if, and all that stuff. And wait a second, what was that sound? What was that? How did they make that? And all that. So it takes kind of a part of the enjoyment out of it. A few days ago I decided to watch some old videos that I watched when I first found vlogging. I think it was something like 7 years ago, 7 or 8, not sure. But anyways, there was a bunch of videos that I watched when I first started vlogging, when I was going to start vlogging, because I wanted to see what vlogging is about, what kind of videos people are making and all that stuff. And well, there were some videos that were deleted because that channel doesn't exist anymore. And then there were those who have kept on going. And then there were those who have changed in one way or another. Their format has changed, their subject matter has changed or whatever. And then there were those, as I said, who have just kept on going the way they were 7 years ago. And it was kind of sad for me to see that there were those who have fell for the what I would call the cheesiest trap of YouTube. When I first found the channels, they were making videos with, I mean, handheld cameras, with their phones or whatever, and it was very kind of it was amateur quality in a good way. Kind of people just doing things without planning all that much. But now when I went back to those channels, I was, well, at the same time I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised, because they had ring lights, external microphones, 1080p good quality cameras, but their content was still the same. The subject matter was still the same. And this is kind of hard to explain in English, but let's try. your equipment, your gear should evolve because your content is moving forward. So you need that gear in order to make the content that you want to do with the quality you want to do it. But if you are making a video about your day, you don't need a ring light. You don't need an external microphone. You don't need a 1080p DSLR camera when you're just standing or sitting in front of the camera talking about how you took your dog to the vet today. You don't need it. And well, there are always those who are saying to their screens right now, what do you care? Well, I don't care, because it's their channel, it's their content. But in my opinion, you should always think, what do you need in order to make the content you want to do? If you need all that external stuff, then get it. If you need a drone, well, buy it, get it. But if you don't need it, it's cheesy. Especially in one case when I was watching one of these videos. It was about everyday things. It was about that current day. That video. What she did on that day. It was evening back then, but what she did during that day. And it was clear that there was a script of some kind, or some kind of bullet point list or something next to a camera, because you can see that glimpse when there is a script next to a camera, when people are just glimpsing over thinking that nobody would notice. And well, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm saying that it's artificial is probably the right word. Pretentious is the wrong word, I know that. But it's artificial when you're trying to make this hello, this is my day kind of video, and there's too much going on. I mean, you don't need better than what I have, right? Obviously, as I said, if you have gear and if you think you need it, then use it. But it should always be about content, not about means to put out that content. I mean, you can make great vlogs with a phone. All you need is something to say, something that catches people's attention, something that someone would listen. You don't need, well, now I'm repeating myself, but it's something you see on YouTube every day. I mean, for example, I've asked, why am I not vlogging in 1080p? Well, if you are a somewhat long-time viewer of my channel, do I really need 1080p for this? I don't. And that's why I don't have a 1080p camera. I don't need it. So, but that's the easiest thing to fail for, or easiest pit to fall into. That you'll buy all kinds of things that will make your video and audio quality better without thinking about what is the main meat of the video, what is the thing that you want to put across. Because if you don't have anything to say, good video and audio quality doesn't save you. And I'm a bad example what comes to that, because I'm blabbering all over the place in my videos. I'm not scripting anything, I hardly think anything before I turn on the camera. I just have some kind of an idea of what I want to talk about. But if you want to make on point content, the content comes first. Camera, audio and editing tools are secondary. It's the same thing with music. Once again, you don't need to buy an expensive DAW and expensive microphones and all kinds of outboard stuff to get started. All you need is a cheap audio interface, or if you want to be really cheap, all you need is a computer. You probably already have it, a desktop or laptop, and something like Zoom H1. There's your recorder and your audio interface in one package. That's pretty much all you need. when you're starting out. Then when you feel that you need better mics, better preamps, for example, better plugins or whatever, then get them. But get them only if you need them. And when I said get H1 or something similar, I was talking about, or I was thinking about situation where you need to record audio, or you want to record audio. If you want to make music that's completely electronic, then it's a completely different thing. But in that case, I would say get a copy of FL Studio or something like that, and get a MIDI keyboard that also doubles out as an interface. Or if you want to be really cheap, just get an interface and FL Studio and a good pair of headphones. MIDI keyboard is optional, but most likely you want to get one pretty sharpishly after you've figured out the basics, but still. And one golden rule is that don't believe when someone says you to get something. First figure out, are you needing it? Do you need it? Because that's one of the easiest way to spend too much money when it comes to, for example, music, but same applies to video or photography, is that you believe when someone tells you that you need this, this and this. Well, do your research and then decide what you actually need. It's 7:40, so I think it's time to wrap up this vlog. And I just realized that I have some bomb disassembling kind of things to do in the near future. I need one project file. That file is in my old audio laptop that's been in a closet untouched for the last 5-ish years. So I really hope that the hard drive doesn't soil the bed when I turn it on. But anyways, that's about that. So, see you!